Hello there guys and girls, welcome to another nerdy tutorial. Today I've got a very exclusive goodie for you all. Something you can only get right here on this channel thanks to the help of the great modding community. Let me once again demonstrate what I want to teach you today from my short movie Red Roses, which you can see on my desktop. And no, this is not a green screen effect. I first tweeted about this after my first successful test in May 2020. For this tutorial I optimized the technique a lot more so it is as convenient as possible for you to do. This is the epic type of bullet kill cam that you may know from awesome games like Sniper Elite or Max Payne 3, which I played like a madman back in the good old days. Some of you may be hammering the keyboard now, but whanowa, there's already an easy mod for this to download. Well, yeah, this might be neat for some casual gameplay, but it has no cinematic value at all, because you don't have any control over the bullet and how it looks. Frankly, it kinda looks like a flying lipstick or something. So to recreate a shot like this, you will need the bullet models that I used. Those are actually from Max Payne 3. Big thanks go out to Slick from the modding community, who converted these models for me in the blink of an eye. Awesome work! You will find the download in the video description exclusively here on my channel. In there you will find a pistol bullet, pistol shell, a rifle bullet, rifle shell and a full rifle cartridge. If you don't know the difference, this part does the killing far away and this part is ejected from the gun after shooting. You could place these shells on the ground after a character has emptied their magazine, or you could let them drop to the ground because the GTA 5 shells actually disappear too quickly. In comparison, the vanilla object of this single bullet looks really bad, but there's also this retextured version that you could use. By now you should be familiar with installing mods like this, so I'll skip that step. But there's also a short guide included in the download just to make sure you don't actually misinterpret and get your dick stuck in the toaster. Also, everything is neatly sorted into folders so you'll quickly know which is which. You can also replace any other object in the game in case you need multiple of these bullets and shells in the same scene. It is important that the objects you're replacing have a similar size though, otherwise the hitboxes will be all messed up. For my demonstration I have installed the rifle bullet to show you a long-range kill. As you can see here, I've already spawned Franklin with a big rifle and a looped shooting animation. Ideally the character is frozen in place so it won't move around on accident. For the next step you have to spawn the bullet prop by just searching for single bullet. Then you'll need any other small prop. I like using these candles for whatever weird reason. And lastly, you're gonna need a rat. Yes, you've heard that right. The rat is the best pet because it is small and cute. Let me show you how to position these props correctly. Firstly, you should select your object and hit reset rotation on it. Do the same thing for the bullet prop. This is necessary to align the axes of both these objects for easier placement later on. Attach the bullet to the other object and while you're at it, attach the rat to that object as well. Here's a lazily drawn scheme for a better understanding of the whole setup. Let's look at the left side first. It is important that the rat is at the same position as the bullet because that's where the camera focus will be. The invisible object needs to be higher up because it is the only object with collision. This way, the object can fly above the enemy's head. In-game, it should look kinda like this. As you can see on the graph, I've already listed some key properties you need to make this work, including the task sequences. Feel free to screenshot this. Let's start with the attached rat. You have to set the opacity to 0% and it needs to be frozen in place and collision turned off, as it will only be the anchor point for our camera later on. Let's move on to the bullet prop. This is the only visible part of the setup, so the opacity is at 100%. But you have to turn off the collision here and the object needs to be dynamic, so it can rotate. If you don't shoot horizontally like I do in this example, You must angle the projectile by changing the pitch value in the attachment options. You can always readjust this later on. The key element here is the task sequence. Just at the task, snap to rotation here and make the bullet rotate around its own axis. For that you need to activate the relative function here and then start the sequence already for instant preview. The spin needs to be rather quick because later in Rockstar Editor you'll slow down the replay speed to 35, 20 or even 5%. I used around 20.0 around the y-axis in my video. And finally, the central object which will make the projectile fly. It should be set to dynamic, at 0% opacity and have active collision. Once again, the task sequence will make the magic happen. You'll need 3 individual tasks for this. Let's start by adding the task snap to rotation. In this case, it ensures that no matter what happens during the flight of the object, the original orientation is reset at the start of the sequence. If you don't do this and the object collides somewhere, it will tumble during the following iterations of the sequence, like in this demonstration where the setup is still visible. In this case, deactivate the relative box and activate the sequence for a live preview. Then choose the correct positioning of the bullet. Looking down from above, the pink line should align with the barrel of the gun. I recommend putting this task at the start of the sequence, so that the bullet will already be in the correct orientation before it teleports back instead of starting the first split second in the barrel like. Speaking of teleporting, then you add teleport to position, as it brings the whole setup back to the starting point every time. Set the position to the camera target first for a rough estimate, then you can adjust the destination manually. Make sure to use small increments for precise positioning and move the camera around to look at it from different angles. Only pay attention to the bullet instead of this highlighted sphere. You will have to pick the moment right before the recoil kicks in for the correct placement. After placing the bullet like this, you should move it a little further back down the barrel. This might be pretty hard depending on how your gun is angled, but you'll get the hang of it. The third task you add is called Achieve Velocity and it will make the whole setup fly in a certain direction. You will already see movement here. In this case it doesn't matter if you leave relative active or not, because the rotation and position are always reset by the first 2 tasks. I'll deactivate it here to show you how you can change the direction and pitch so it all aligns with the barrel and the bullet. In our example here it is easy because the direction is 90 degrees and the pitch is 0. Adjust these values to fit your scene. Magnitude is the speed of the movement, which needs to be very high because the clip will be slowed down in the editor. With 30.0 you get a fast moving projectile. Increase the duration so that it will at least reach the target and maybe keep flying for a little longer. If you should realize that the bullet will not hit the target as intended, it is not wise to move your whole setup again. Instead, just put your target right in harm's way. You can see here that the bullet passes through Trevor's chest because the invisible object that actually has collision passes by over his head. As you will quickly realize, the biggest problem is the timing, because the bullet leaving the muzzle needs to be in sync with the recoil of the gun. As of now, Franklin has 2 tasks that add up to a total of 6 seconds. Since the duration of the Achieve Velocity task is 3 seconds, every other shot should match with the motion of the barrel, right? Wrong. The other 2 tasks also take a fraction of a second each, and thereby the whole thing is out of sync. Trust me, I've tried multiple different techniques and there is no good way to make this work automatically. It's quicker to time it manually, like I did for my short movie. Make sure to activate Action Replay to capture the perfect take more easily. By going to Edit Multiple Entities and selecting Franklin, you can then start the task sequence of him firing as often as you want. You know now that the bullet is traveling for 3 seconds until it comes back, so you can just count it like a rhythm. You gotta channel your inner McConaughey. Here you can see a couple of good attempts, which I'll save by pressing F1. I know you might want to show the bullet flying all the way from the barrel through the victim like in Sniper Elite. However, this is impossibly hard to achieve. You would have to perfectly time the recoil with the bullet leaving the muzzle. You would have to perfectly sync up your bullet hitting the target at the same time as the visible sniper bullet, and on top of it, hit the exact same spot. I tested this dozens of times, and most of the time it will look like this, where either the wound appears too early or the bullet enters at an entirely different spot. You're simply too far away to be precise enough with your sniper rifle due to the sway of the scope. This right here was literally the best take that I could get after many tries. Still, the wound appears inches from where the bullet hits Trevor's chest. At a higher speed of 35 or 50%, it looks okay-ish. But if we then check the timing at the barrel, it seems off because the recoil kicks in too late in my opinion. Thereby, the best advice I can give you is to do the death scene in a different shot like I did in my video. And thus, the sniper kill is complete. Sadly, as a murderer, Franklin will go to jail for life, but at least he went in style. Nigga. After recording, there's not much to it in Rockstar Editor. Just load the clip and find the moment where the bullet teleports to the start. It is best to zoom out a little bit to find your invisible rat when you select Move with Target on the first marker. Choose Rigid so the camera will fly alongside the bullet nicely. Do the same with Depth of Field and pick the invisible rat as a target for the camera focus. Now you can place the camera in a cinematic fashion and adjust the depth of field a little more. Don't forget to slow down the clip to make it look like a slow-mo bullet. For even greater pleasure, you can add a second marker at the end of the bullet flight path and change the camera angle there. Go back to the first marker and activate the smooth blend. It is totally up to you how you want your camera to move here in order to capture the bullet's path creatively. The only problem there is that the Rockstar Editor can't keep the depth of field straight on the invisible rat, which is why it becomes so blurry in the middle. In this case, it is better to go with the default value and fake the depth of field with some Gaussian blur in your video editing software. And here's the final kill cam from the intro once again. But you can also try a close-up from the front or even a dolly zoom while the bullet flies. And that's about it for this tutorial. I know this is a lot of work for just a few seconds of footage in your video, but to me it was worth it because I don't think anyone before me has ever done this type of shot in GTA 5. If you don't want to go through this trouble, then maybe this video was a peek behind the scenes so you can see exactly why it takes so long to make these machinima. I am currently working on a huge video about task sequences that will make your scenes a lot more impactful than ever before. This video right here was just a small appetizer for what you will learn there. So make sure to subscribe to not miss the nerdy stuff. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. Whanowa. Over.